Hey guys, I'm Matt, Trend Lover 943. Today we'll be taking a look at this MTH Premier Line South Buffalo Railway Alco S-2 switcher. This engine's made by MTH and it's a very good switcher engine. So we're going to take a look at the details and we also will run it. This engine first appeared in MTH's 2013 Volume 2 catalog. It's a great engine and it comes in powered only, and that item number is 20-20328-1, but it comes in three different road numbers. It comes in 84, 102, and then 103 like you see here. So you can essentially have three of these. So it'd be like getting three regular MTH engines, one high rail, one scale, one non-powered. So it'd be like doing that. So, you know, whatever you like. So let's go and take a look at the details and then we will run this engine. And I gotta say, it's a nice little engine. It really is great. Here's a look at the pilot. The pilot is very nicely done. You have an operating coupler which can be fired from your MTH DCS remote or on your conventional transformer. And please excuse the little bit of glare that's shining on here. It actually is, the coupler is all painted black. It's just that there's a little bit of glare from the light that's up top here. And then you also have an operating coupler, and then you got this nice little hose detail. They got a lot of these little hoses and little wires and things all over the place on this engine, so it looks pretty good. To come up on the nose area of the engine, you have a good wealth of handrail pieces. You got this really interesting handrail with these kind of V-shaped stanchions here holding it up. I think it looks really cool. And then up on here you have some nice grab iron detail. You have an operating headlight, which all the lights on this engine are LEDs. You got 103, which is the engine's road number, and then you got this cast-in door. On the side of the engine, you have lighted number boards, which say 103. Those are right up here. You have a set of non-see-through grates right up here. All the grates on this engine are not see-through, the few that are even here. And then you have a piece of little step detail there. And then you have these trucks. These trucks are magnificent. And here's a better look at them right there. To come down on the red cab, you got all these sets of grills and grates, but none of these are see-through. And then you have a nice set of handrail pieces, which are great. Back here you got this nice little piping piece of detail. It looks really cool. It looks really intricate too. On the cab end of this engine you have South Buffalo Railway coming down in a little circle pattern, and then you got 103. And then on the side you have the windows, which look very nice. And finally, on the back of the engine you have another operating coupler. You have some step detail here. You got a really cool, interesting looking handrail piece like I mentioned earlier. And you have some nice detail up on top here. No, the door does not open. And also got some nice window patterns up along the cab. Right up top you got a nice kind of radiator piece that's got a fan in there. However, the fan does not spin even if you blow on it. So it's not that big of a deal to me though. Here you have these compartment kind of things, and they don't pop off for anything. It would be nice if MTH would do the controls up here, but they didn't do it. So it's not that big of a deal to me though. Right here you have a smokestack, and it does go down into an operating smoke unit. However, it is not a fan-driven smoke unit. It comes down in a little wisp, and you'll see this in a minute. So it does kind of beat up in things, and you'll see how it operates in a minute. And then also right here you have a nice separately applied horn. And on top of the cab, besides the rivets that go all along the side of the cab, you got a beacon light. Before I get this engine going, I just want to give you my favorite feature on the engine. My favorite feature is the prime mover. It sounds really interesting. It's got the startup of a Alco RS1, and it really sounds pretty cool. And the prime mover sounds itself like the RPMs. They sound really interesting as well. So let's go ahead and run this engine. Now this engine you can run it via MTH's digital command system, which is the way I'm going to run it. And then you can also run it conventionally. Now since this engine does not have the proto scale 3.2, it doesn't have that, so you cannot run it off DCC, and you can also not run it off 2-rail. So before you guys ask, no, it is not possible to run this engine off 2-rail or DCC. Alright, so let's go ahead and fire this engine up. Now the prime mover, the startup sounds are really long. They're at least, I want to say 30 to 45 seconds long. They really sound fantastic. So let's go ahead and power it up. Okay, maybe not quite 45 seconds, maybe like 20 seconds. But even so, it's got a great startup sounds. Alright, here's the horn, and I think you guys will find this one really cool. It sounds really nice. Here's the bell. The bell is really interesting sounding. I'm not sure if I like it or not, and I still gotta think about that, but here it is for you. And then I'll play some of the horn sounds. You got a single hit horn. You got a forward signal, reverse signal, and then a crossing signal. The crossing signal is really long and it sounds really cool. Sounds really nice. So here's some of the sound effects.
Check that oil level. Oil level's okay. Thanks, bud. How you coming there, D10 over?
I'm gonna go ahead and play the PFA sounds. Those are activated by pressing number 9 on the MTHDCS remote.
How you coming there, D10 over?
One of my favorite sound effects on this engine are the squealing brake sounds. They really sound interesting. I don't know if I'll be able to capture this on the video or not, depending on what speed I'm running at. But if I do it, you'll be able to hear it, and I think you'll find it really interesting. Now, since this is a yard switcher, the only place you're going to be seeing this engine run in this video is the yard, just because it's a yard switcher, so that's pretty cool. Alright, here's a look at the smoke unit, and as I said, it comes down to wisp. It's not fan driven, but it does smoke, so I think that's pretty interesting that it comes out like that. So I don't know if that's prototypical or not. I'm assuming no, but if it is, I'd like to know, because it's pretty interesting, I think. Alright, so let's go ahead and run this engine. That's the screwing brakes I was talking about. So that wraps up for this review. This engine really is great, and you know, it's a little switcher, it's really nice. So if you want to pick one up, the retail price is retailed for $399, and we got ours for $385, so it's a pretty good discount. So if you go through a good deal, you should be able to get a discount off that price, and if you can, great. If you can't, I'd still recommend picking one of these up. Not just this S-2, but any S-2. These are really nice engines, and they're really small and compact, so they're fantastic for doing runs in the switchyard. So that about wraps it up. We'll see you later.